Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you in another video. All right, so we got a few things to talk about. The Lakers have hired one of the assistant coaches from the Nets, and from what I understand, it seems to one of the people that commented that we were putting together Tom Izzo's old coaching staff in Michigan State. So that's really interesting. Maybe that can give us a hint as to what we can look for in terms of style of play. I don't know what the coach's name. I thought it was Jordan Orr, but I don't think that's correct. So please forgive me. I come unprepared. But that's not the only thing I wanted to talk about. Of course, we've been mentioning Kyrie Irving, and now the rumors that are flying around. The details are that he has until the 29th of this month, 8 days from now, to either opt in or out of his $36 million contract extension, and it's likely he'll opt into that, although we don't know at this point. But I think he'll get his money, and then from there, probably will look to have a trade situation take place there. Um, so that's very interesting. Keep an eye open for that. Also, it's been understood and reported that uh, the Lakers and the Indiana Pacers have engaged in talks surrounding Malcolm Brogdon. I believe the framework was THT's contract, Russell Westbrook's contract, and the 27 first rounder. And that was rejected by the Indiana Pacers. And I don't know if they're going to continue speaking at all. Meanwhile, of course, we've been speaking about Russell Westbrook's contract having some interest over there in Charlotte. He has since liked a post with Miles Bridges. So he's basically letting everybody know and signaling that he is on board with the swap to Charlotte, um, or that this deal is getting done. I don't know if it's one or the other, but I just hope that the Lakers have a good deal in place that would allow them some compensation and not just taking back contracts that we're ultimately going to have trouble getting rid of. Because that's not going to help us at the end of the day. We want to help ourselves and so on and so forth. So yeah, those are the things I wanted to kind of just talk to everybody about. Kind of put those words into the world because that information could be relevant based on everything that we have going on with this particular team, the LA Lakers. Given the fact that we hired the Nets coach, I think it's very interesting because now it's us more or less signaling that we want to do a deal with them. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously. I might not have mentioned this, but it was reported that the Nets um, and the Lakers had some type of meeting a few weeks back. So this was something that could have been spoken about, whatever this is, could have been spoken about at that time. I think it's more than likely that that is the case, which is why I spoke so presumptuously in regards to Kyrie Irving joining the Lakers. I just think there's a lot of little hints going around. Him wearing Laker hat, LA, not Laker hats, but LA hats and stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff pointing in that direction, and I've learned over the years to just read the signs because these guys can't speak, but they do like to communicate. So this is how they do it. Given the fact that everybody's raised by Bron in the situation, that's what I expect to see is subliminals and communication in that way. And it helps because I think fans like myself can get the information we need and kind of just get what we need from the player without them necessarily having to address us or having to go through the middleman media to try to get that information or at least get an understanding of where the wind is blowing in certain situations. So to me, it looks like Kyrie Irving is open-minded about moving on from the Nets and open-minded about reuniting with LeBron and open-minded about possibly putting on a Laker uniform. And all that makes sense in many ways because at the end of the day, he wants to find a place where he can kind of be himself. And I think, I guess, find himself on an organization that can absorb the uniqueness of the experience of having it. I think that's what you need to do if you're Kyrie Irving. You don't want to just go to any old organization. You run the risk of having more of the same take place. You want to take on an organization, or rather have an organization take on you that can manage what they need to manage while being yourself. So I think the Lakers are the team for him in that regard, because we're in a place right now as an organization where there's nothing that Kyrie can do that would worsen our situation. I think that's what it really comes down. Like, we're bad. You know what I mean? We're in a bad space with a lot that we have going on right now. What we would need is somebody to just kind of come here and help us put booties in seats, as my mama used to say, and ultimately get us through some hard times, or make it so that these hard times aren't hard at all by giving us a stretch of good years. And we know Kyrie Irving's talent level is so crazy great. Even if he misses 50 games, them 30 games is going to be incredible. He proved that with Brooklyn. It's worth watching. You want to see him play, and not only do you want to see him play, but he's going to do big things in clutch moments and on the offensive end particularly, and that's something that we definitely need, shot making. So I think it's if you're going to throw $1 million at anybody, I'm just saying, if you're going to invest in anybody, you want to invest in somebody who's naturally talented. And you're not going to find too many people more naturally talented than Kyrie Irving at what they do in this planet. So that kind of goes without saying that you want to acquire him as a basketball player. You just want to make sure you can surround him with what he needs to succeed. And I think, ironically enough, I don't think there's a better place for him to succeed than with next to the king, the only person he's won with. The only person he's ever succeeded with is somebody who happens to be right here, who I'm pretty sure would love to add him to this situation, because Bron he's able to kind of embrace certain things that you would be like, wow, you really want to deal with that? Yeah, he does. So yes, he would love to bring Kyrie Irving into this situation. I'm sure he's on board with that. I don't have any question. I don't have to ask nobody. I'm not wondering. I already know, because he knows what type of talent that is. And he knows he can win with that dude. He knows he has AD, he can win with him too, which is why we can't trade AD in that trade, as said earlier in the video made. So that is still the opinion, obviously, and I'm hopeful that the Lakers can make that happen. A lot of people don't think the Lakers can make it happen because it's going to be kind of difficult incentivizing the Brooklyn Nets to do a deal with the Lakers, but I just don't agree with that at all. I really, really don't agree with that. For one, anything that the Brooklyn Nets want, they should be able to get in this trade. And the reason why I say that is because Russell Westbrook's contract doesn't have to necessarily land with them. It doesn't. It has to land with the team that wants to free up $47 million next year. And that looks like the Charlotte Hornets. They're the ones that need it. It's becoming ever so clear to me, learning about the Charlotte Hornets situation, that they're trying to free up money to pay Miles Bridges, and they're trying to free up money to secure some other pieces as well. Maybe Kelly Oubre. I'm not really certain what the situation is further. But all in all, they need to be able to have that money available next year to keep that core together. And I don't think there's anything more important to Mike than keeping Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball together, because that is money. That's box office on the road and at home. So you want to keep them two together at all freaking costs. And so that is what he's trying to do. He's going to bring in Russell Westbrook, bring him in as a player of some sort. Russell Westbrook's going to ball out when he gets to Charlotte, because the only thing Russell Westbrook really needs is the type of team that the Charlotte Hornets happen to be, which is a bunch of people going to be running all day long at a high-powered, high-flying pace. And you got to understand, is the fit that great with Russell Westbrook and LaMelo Ball? One would think it's not, but LaMelo Ball is so incredibly gifted, and his game is so fluid offensively, to where, yeah, he could play off of Russell Westbrook without any problem. Trust you me, when they get them down there, he's one of the few players in this league that I think is not going to have any problem playing in the backcourt with Russell Westbrook. Even though neither one of them are defensive players, so you're going to have issues defensively. But I don't think you acquire those two players and put them together with the intention of them locking people down necessarily. I think your mindset is just attack, fast break, fly. And one thing those two guys are going to do is that. You add Kelly Oubre, you add Bridges to the mix. I actually don't think that's the worst fit in the world if Russell Westbrook can keep it together and just, not turn the ball over as frequently as he was doing with us. which I don't think he'll have the ball in his hands as much to do because that will be Melo's job. So it'll be a tricky fit for their unnamed, who knows who the heck coach that's going to be. Um, but they're going to have their work cut out for them for one season because after that, Westbrook will be a free agent, and I'm pretty sure he'll be at a price that makes sense for anybody that wants to add him to their team at that point. So, if he wants to resign with that team and they have a nice role for him, there won't be a problem slipping him in from then. But for now, this season, that $47 million is the biggest key to all of this, and I think it's exactly what Mike wants. It's exactly what Mike wants, and that's what I've been telling everybody. Anybody that's trying to free up $47 million in one setting, it's going to be a heaven sent to receive Russell Westbrook for one season. You don't care about this one season? No. You want that $47 million that he leaves behind by walking away and saying thank you. That is ultimately a very good thing, man. Especially if you're stuck with contracts like Gordon Hayward that's going to be on the hook for several years, or contracts such as Plumlee that may not look as good to you, or maybe even Terry Rozier, of whom you may want to move on because you have young players at this position. You don't need those contracts on your books for multiple years. You can acquire Russell Westbrook in exchange for those contracts, and you can find yourself being able to free up that space right away when you need it to pay who you want to keep. Now, as far as I'm concerned as a Laker fan, we're going to have to find someone else to take on that Hayward contract because that is a dead deal for me. I am not going to be on the hook for my boy Gordon Hayward. I like his game. I've always been a fan. But this is the same situation in regards to Russell Westbrook. It ain't about you. It's about the contract, sir. I can't do nothing with that based on my needs and needs to build, particularly. I think he could play great, though. I don't think he's going to come in and suck or even be less than a star, to be honest. He's always good. But is he always available? No. We have a lot of issues with that, and that contract is scary. We went through Mozgov. We went through Luol Deng. I do not want our team to be on the hook for that type of thing going forward. We have enough long-term problems as is. Need not have Gordon Hayward's contract be one of them. So we would have to find someone else to take that thing, or I would want significant draft capital in exchange for that thing on top of everything else that's going on. I'm talking significant. It's significant. So, in other words, it wouldn't happen. So that's my thing. I don't know. I don't know if Mitch and those guys have a better deal in place. Like I said, you can add different teams to the situation and make everything work. You just have to get creative enough. You can believe me. You can make it work. But the question is, can you find enough people to agree to that? And so that's what it's all about. I'm pretty sure that you will, because there are teams out there who are defining themselves as teams with needs as we speak. I look at Phoenix and say they need a center. I don't know what they're going to do with Ayton. Nothing seems to be making sense in regards to where he can go. That looks like it's going to get ugly really, really fast. And so something's going to have to open up for Ayton. So keep that in mind. I think the Lakers could very easily facilitate something like that with Russell Westbrook's contract. So keep your eyes peeled for that type of thing. And I tell Russell Westbrook, it's no guarantee, absolutely no guarantee that you'll ever suit up for the team that you're about to go to, bro. There's no guarantee. This could be a John Wall situation, and I think he would be wise to mentally prepare for the possibility of that. Even if it don't pan out that way, it would be wise to just brace yourself and mentally prepare for the possibility of sitting all year long, because depending on the owner who acquires that contract, it may be in their best interest to sit him. That's just how it goes sometimes. So John Wall is showing us that, and that's what it is. With that being said, I think I've said everything I need to say. This is the update. I'm looking forward to learning about this coaching staff. If it is Tom Izzo's coaching staff, I'm intrigued by that. Izzo is a legendary college coach from Michigan State, who won many a championship, had many a great moment in my lifetime. I watched a lot of good Michigan State games as a kid, and I was actually not a fan. I ain't going to say I was a fan because that's kind of fair weather, but I had an era where I really rooted for them a lot. Team Cleaves and all of that, that was a big deal for me. So I like that team. That's Magic Johnson's alma mater, so I always felt like we were attached to them to some degree anyway. So, yeah, for what that is worth, I'm intrigued. So, that's what I got to say, man. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.